This week, our beautiful sun is activating gate 12 in the I Ching and Gene Keys. This frequency is activating a genetic codon within all of us that is stimulating our consciousness field theme for this week. The transformational path of this frequency moves from the shadow of vanity to the highest frequency of purity, and it's via the path of discrimination. Let's look at the human design body graph chart to see the activation of this frequency in our body this week. Here we have the human design holographic body chart, which will show us where the I Ching, where the frequency is going to be activated this week in our body. So here we have the sun, gate 12, and in the body chart, gate 12 is right here in the throat center, which is activating a quantum field channel with gate 22 in the emotional center, the solar plexus. So great way to look at it. It's like an emotional valve directly going to the throat, a very powerful manifesting energy. So what's fascinating about this week is that Saturn is in gate 22, making a full channel, quantum field channel with the sun. Now, Saturn represents, I like to call him our inner shaman. He brings in the resistance, the opposition, the limitations on the 3D physical plane in order for us to evolve on our human journey. Now, gate 22 is all about finding grace, feeling everything fully and surrendering into the divine. Now, Saturn's been in Pisces for the last year and a half. He's going to be staying here for another year. And he's teaching us how to surrender and let go. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and it's the energy of merging the human experience with spirit. So he's teaching us how to surrender and let go as things come to a close. So this week, there's great potential for breakthroughs. The original I Ching is a living mystery dating back over 5,000 years ago, also known as the Book of Change. There are no experts. The more we listen, the more the mystery opens up from within us. In the 1960s, humanity discovered the genetic codes, which have an exact mathematical formula to the I Ching frequencies. Let's take a pause and consider the miracle of the genetic codes. It's a code that dictates how all organic life is built. Literally an instructional manual, and the body has to follow it exactly. There's an aspect in the I Chings, in the Gene Keys, known as the 22 codon rings. In the 64 I Chings, Gene Keys, there are 22 groups of frequencies that work together and in a mysterious and wonderful pattern according to the structure of our genetic codes. The 12th I Ching, Gene Key, is unique because it's an anomaly. It's a point of closure. If the human journey ever came to an end, it would end with this frequency. In the matrix of our genetic codes, there are 3 codes that specifically signal to the body to stop building protons. Gate 12 is one of these stop codons. It's part of the ring of trials, and it's the only code that also is part of a second ring, codon ring, called the ring of secrets. So basically, there are genetic codes within the human body that lay dormant, that only get switched on in a specific moment of our evolution. These codes may be waiting for the condition to be right, or may be awakened through a mutation or a high frequency. The point is that they're concealing something. They're holding something vast back, kind of like a dam that behind it lay a vast ocean waiting for a breakthrough. Let's dive a little deeper to better understand practically this human archetype and understand this frequency from within us. So at the shadow frequency, it's vanity, and it's the dilemma of aloneness. It's the dilemma of being alone on one hand and desiring to belong and be a part of something and others on the other hand. So it's the balance between our relationships and our aloneness. It's all about how we deal with relationships. At the collective level, the 12th shadow is deeply profound because it all hinges on one single unconscious fear. It's the fear that another person can take away our freedom or our independence in some way. This is a deep victim belief structure that someone can do something that takes something away from us. And this is the foundation of vanity, the false belief that we actually exist as an individual. This may sound funny or mystical to some. The truth is, from the vantage point of the heart and from the purity of the city, there's no one being here. There's no one of anything. And that's because we're one single consciousness. I know this may be a lofty concept for some to comprehend. The deep dilemma, if we're operating from the shadow, is the deep fear that the other can take away the spirit of our freedom. At the shadow level, it is the same fear that makes us emotionally cautious. And this is the hallmark of this frequency, emotional caution. At the same level, you can also be very volatile beneath the surface. People with the 12th gene key in their energetic signature may appear collected and calm, and yet have deep-seated boundaries deep inside them that probably developed from early childhood. These boundaries are designed to keep people away in order to prevent them from getting hurt. So at the 12th shadow, we only really allow people into our hearts occasionally in tiny bursts. This is a deep unconscious childhood fear. So what this means is that other people may become very frustrated with us because they're left wanting more, and it's because we're so guarded. Now, this is one side of the spectrum. On the other side, we have the opposite effect. We may appear extremely emotional and even a bit crazy, and this dominates our life and our relationships. But remember, there's a deep fear under the surface. All the shadow frequencies are rooted in fear. So our fear is preventing us from loving fully and receiving love. And to receive another's love could be one of the most terrifying things for this shadow. So in essence, the 12th shadow is a fear key. It's being afraid of being emotionally overwhelmed and not being able to cope with the emotional waves that are coming from the solar plexus. The 12th gift, the way to transmute the shadow and the way to raise the vibration, discrimination. The essence of discrimination is being able to discriminate from behavior that's coming from the heart and behavior that's coming from the mind. So it's balancing emotions and mind. When I'm referring to the heart, I'm not referring to emotions. Your heart being your higher self, your essence of who you are, your soul, the whole of the life. So it's working through your emotional wave to get to your higher self, to your heart. The real genius of this gift is the ability to refine our emotions to its purified essence. The life is a gradual and constant refinement. We need to learn to use this gift of refinement and discrimination, not just on others in the outer world, but on ourselves. So at the shadow, we use this to push people away. And at the gift, we turn it upon ourselves. It's a true turning point. When we're able to look at ourselves with complete honesty, we're able to see when we're holding back from the other out of fear. Fear is inside all of us human beings. It's the vanity of separateness, the false belief that we're a separate individual and not the whole. This gift is a breakthrough gift when we use our laser-like honesty to break down our self-imposed mental boundaries. Eventually, we experience an opening. This doesn't have to happen all at once. It often happens gradually. It begins to reprint us. The emotions that we once feared would be so overwhelming, well, they weren't. Fear is typically anticipated and created in the mind from a memory. But once you face it, it really isn't as bad as you imagined. Only then we can start to remember what love feels like and not be afraid of it. Through the gift of discrimination, we can start letting others in. We allow the life in, the world into our heart, and a heart begins to open. When I'm referring to an opening of your heart and love, I'm not referring to a codependent relationship. I'm referring to the feeling of love, of self-love, of the love for life. If you have the 12th gene key in your energetic signature, you have to realize that emotions are not the enemy. You have to let love and life into your heart. And if necessary, let it wound you. Hold nothing back. Feel it fully, because only then can you realize that nothing can really wound you. The pain might remind you of an early childhood belief system, but it's not really who you are. That's the point. Through this gift, we stop being the observer of life and love and become the embodiment of love. The true genius is to help others make that leap. If you have the 12th gene key in your energetic signature, you have also an acoustic gift, the gift of your voice, of using your voice, of your sound of your voice with art and music. When we come from a place deep within our soul, from a pure place, rather than the shadow of fear, we can use the voice as a powerful vessel to open up the hearts of others. The 12th city, the highest frequency, purity. The city is the divine essence of the life. The only purity that is the purity of the heart, and nothing and no one can ever take that away from us. No matter how horrendous the outer conditions may get, no one and nothing can touch the purity of our heart. That is the powerful and magical realization of the 12th city. I empower you this week to create space, get to higher awareness, notice your thoughts, feel all the sensations fully that come up in the body this week, and shine the light of awareness to behaviors. Use discrimination to see if behaviors are coming from the mind or from the heart. Be blessed.